Hello and welcome to Power to the People with me, Graeme Pryce, for the last video of the year. It's been quite a year, hasn't it? I hardly know where to begin, but I wanted to have a quick word before we see the back of 2024. Obviously, there are some quite sinister events that I might have to mention, but there have been some highlights. Not many, of course. The world seems to be descending into a late-stage, hyper-capitalist hellscape at the moment. And those that we would usually entrust to put the best people in power to address our problems can seemingly be pathetically easy to distract with a 3-word slogan on Twitter or a monologue from Jacob Rees-Mogg on GBBs. Do you remember RoboCop in the 80s? Remember how the world that Paul Verhoeven created seemed like a ridiculous caricature? How we laughed at the absurdity of a world where corporate interests literally overruled basic decency and humanity? Thank God, we thought, that we will never live in a world like that. Well, I am an optimist in general, so let's forget the slow-burning demise of civilization and pick out a few positives right after this. I was just looking at my channel analytics and I noticed that 53% of people who watch my videos weren't subscribed. The pain. Come on, just have a quick check that you've subbed, liked and rang the bell. Make a skinny old scouser a little bit happier today. While 2024 might not have seemed like the best year ever here on our pale blue dot, this year has seen some spectacular victories for the space race. China's Chang'e 6 mission returned the first ever samples of rock from the dark side of the moon. SpaceX finally had success with the first reusable rockets, generating almost unbelievable images and suggesting the potential to seriously lessen the cost of future launches. In California, a company developed ocular implants that allowed people who had been declared legally blind to see well enough to read books again, and researchers confirmed that they are on the verge of creating a vaccine for HIV. Electric vehicles saw the highest sales in history, and scientists successfully used a new material called perovskite to create solar panels that generate 60% more energy than current ones do. After a tumultuous year in France that led to Emmanuel Macron calling and winning a snap election, we saw the reopening of the Notre Dame Cathedral after the disastrous fire of 2019. Donald Trump was at the opening and people around him were pictured recoiling in disgust and holding their noses when, allegedly, he soiled himself again as he did during his presidential debate with Joe Biden. That's what a 70-year diet of strictly McDonald's will do to your bowels, I suppose. We also saw celebrations for 80 years since D-Day in France, though our Prime Minister, who was still Richie Suntwat at the time, decided to leave early in order to return to the UK and spread disinformation about his election campaign and share some more lies about Labour in an interview that never even got aired in the end. Thankfully, some semblance of dignity was restored when Keir Starmer became the first Prime Minister since Churchill to be present at the Armistice Day celebrations in France. Something no Tory Prime Minister in the last 14 years ever wanted to do because they were too frightened that their right-wing racist knobhead supporters would be angry with them for not hating Europeans enough. Imagine Boris fucking Johnson going there to relight the flame at the tomb of the unknown soldier, or Lettuce Truss. They'd probably have set fire to the fucking Notre Dame again by mistake. Of course, the writing was on the wall for the Tories going into 2024, as it seemed the country had finally become sick to fucking death of waking up every morning to a fresh Tory scandal, and then seeing the likes of Braverman, Sunak and Rees bastard Mogg telling us that we don't have the right to be angry, or that it wasn't really their fault. We certainly were angry, though, and we expressed it at the polling booth, giving Labour their biggest majority in history. We subsequently found out that the Tories had left a £22 billion black hole in our finances, and Keir Starmer has certainly let the Tories know that he's noticed that at every single PMQ since. We also found out that their performative cruelty agenda of sending desperate people illegally to Rwanda and then leaving them there had cost us £715 million, despite them literally never sending anybody there who didn't actually already want to go. We're now in a country where a cornucopia of right-wing twats are having a huge collective tantrum and have expressed this in various ways, ranging from the Farage riots to their pointless petition and continual and heavily biased and dishonest campaign of disinformation about Labour from all sides of the media. So, been an interesting year. Still, at least we got rid of the fucking Conservative Party and we gave them their worst defeat in history. Fuck the Tories. Thank you for watching if you've gotten this far. There are a few events that I've deliberately not expanded on, but I always find New Year's Eve a little bit melancholy, and I didn't want to share that to you as well. As for the channel, sadly I was unable to get to 3,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Close, but not quite. Still, I can't complain. The channel is still going from strength to strength, and I'm looking forward to another year of speaking truth to power, taking the piss out of Nigel Farage and annoying the type of gammony dickheads that say, they're coming over here to take our jobs. There was every reason to stop for a moment and celebrate the passing of the Tory party and hopefully a future where they will never form a majority government again. But sadly, we still see people that drive a car from Japan, have a curry from India, drink beer from Germany, read newspapers from an Australian billionaire, eat kebabs from Turkey, and mostly watch American TV programmes, being convinced that they hate foreigners by a man who has a German wife or a thug who's been in and out of prison for the last 20 years. So, we still have a lot of work to do. I'm up for it. Are you? Happy New Year, everybody. Anyway, that certainly isn't all I've got to say. But it is as much of what I've got to say as I'm going to say today. Ta-ra-la. One take, Anne. Do it in one take, yeah? Yeah? Yeah. New Year's Eve, part 2, take 1. While 2024 might not have seemed the best year ever on our... Oh, fuck's sake, that wasn't a good start, was it?